All right, we've got SBG Ireland head coach John Kavanagh for MMA Rocks. How are you doing, sir?
Very good. Nice to be here.
All right, so what's the secret about SBG, as you not only are one of the top European teams, but right now it's going worldwide with fights you have and the success you have?
Yeah, we're getting a good run of wins now. We have 3 fights on Saturday night. If we win those 3, that'll bring us up to 13-0 in the UFC, which is not easy to do. But to be honest, the secret is that the guys have all been training with me almost 10 years. It's not they've been training for that length of time, and now they're starting to compete on the world stage and get these results. But it's not overnight. Skill development in anything, whether you want to compete in jiu-jitsu or in boxing, MMA is no different. You've got to be at it for many years, training consistently, not just going hard for a couple of months and then taking a lot of time off. The top guys like Gunny and Conor, they've been training consistently for almost 10 years, and this is the results that are starting to come true.
Okay, so let's start with the Conor as the biggest star right now from your team. He seems to be unstoppable. He's not only so confident, he's picking rounds, methods of winning. What's your opinion about not only his skills but his mentality as a fighter?
Yeah, it's something that sets him, and I would include Gunny in this as well. A lot of my guys, to be honest, apart from the competition, is an incredible self-belief, and they really visualize what's going to happen, and it's coming true. You know, the more they seem to set themselves impossible tasks. Like for Conor to say he's going to knock out someone who's never been knocked out, and 10 fights in the UFC or something for Dustin, and he went in and made him look very ordinary in 1 minute and 46 seconds. But Conor is special, and he's the whole package. You know, he's much better than this at me than I am at speaking on the microphone. He's very witty on the microphone. He looks the part. He's highly skilled grappler, highly skilled striker. Puts it together in the cage, amazing. Very calm under pressure. Doesn't seem to let competition get to him at all. And he's going in against these top 10 guys and running through them. And I believe Gunny will do the same Saturday night.
Hard to believe, but Conor still has a lot of doubters and haters, maybe I even say, that said that he's not being tested and is wisely matched by the UFC. What are your thoughts about that opinion, that someone who knocked out the top 5 fighter is not tested?
Like I said to another guy, I'm actually glad that people are, when he does a fight, they always say, oh, but what about when he fights this guy, then he'll lose. That's good, because it means they're excited to see his next bout. What would be worse is if he beats somebody and everybody goes, oh, okay, he's the best, I don't really want to see him anymore. No, we want these people, because they're the ones that buy the pay-per-views. Whether they want to see him lose or whether they want to see him win, it doesn't really matter, as long as they buy the pay-per-view. That pumps up Conor's purse, so it's positive.
Yeah, we all know that he's a fantastic striker, but guys talking about him being untested, wondering about his wrestling and ground game. You as a coach knows the best. How is he improving in the other aspects of MMA?
Yeah, well, maybe you saw on Saturday I awarded him his brown belt in jiu-jitsu. It's kind of, I find it sort of amusing when people say this, like, of course, day in, day out, he's training with Gunnar Nelson. Gunnar Nelson's pretty good grappler, and this is someone who's a welterweight, 2 weight classes above him, and Conor and him, they roll all the time, and he does very well. You know, they go back and forward, they do rounds of MMA, and he does very well. They go back and forward. So, trust me, I am as excited as anybody else to see Conor in grappling positions in the cage, because I know what he's capable of. It's just that nobody seems to be able to put a hand on him to put him there. But of course, you know, it's as he fights different styles, he's going to be put in different positions. But I think people will be surprised at just how dangerous he is, just as dangerous on the ground as he is on the feet.
On the other hand, we've got Gunny, who is considered as a fantastic grappler, but also has some doubters about his stand-up game. How is he improving fighting on his feet?
Yeah, I found it funny. Some people were saying that in his last fight, he lost the first round against Zach because Zach was landing the shots. If you watch it back carefully, Zach didn't actually land anything in round 1, whereas Gunny broke Zach's orbital socket with a right hand. So he literally like broke his face, and yet people were saying that Zach was landing the better shot. So I'm not sure if you don't have any marks, no bruises, and you break the guy's face, he got the better shots. That doesn't make sense to me. But I actually do think that on Saturday, Gunny is going to win by knockout. So if people are not too sure about Gunny's striking, I think they'll see on Saturday.
Okay, we've got Gunnar Nelson fighting in main event against Rick Story. We've got Kavanagh and Red also fighting. What's your opinion about their fights, their rivals? I know that you are rating their chance highly, but what do you think about their fights?
Yeah, well, let's say in Gunny's case, Rick's best asset is that he's very experienced. You can't ignore that. He's been in there with the highest level of competition. He's done well. I mean, he's got a win over the current champion, although it was a while ago. I do, however, think that he's kind of like an old school MMA guy, like wrestling with kind of like wild strikes. He's not a very technical striker. So I do think that's going to be his downfall against Gunny. Gunny is so light on his feet, he's so fast. I think he's just going to light him up on his feet with punches and kicks and then put him away quickly. Cahill's fight is going to be interesting as well, maybe a bit more competitive. The other guy is a strong grappler, and they're both kind of new enough to the UFC, so they're both kind of getting used to that level of competition. Cahill fought a guy at middleweight in his last fight. Not only was he a weight class above him, but we also found out later on that he was cheating, taking steroids or whatever, performance-enhancing drugs. So he fought a guy a weight class above him that's even stronger than he is naturally, and Cahill still choked him out in the second round. Now for Cahill to be in there against a welterweight where he has such a size advantage, such a strength advantage, I think he's going to just be far too strong for this guy, and I can see him winning by submission in the first round.
Okay, we've got also Aisling Daly competing in Ultimate Fighter. First question I want to ask is, what do you think about the format as a coach? As she has a lot of tough fights ahead of her, and she's not training with you, she's not training with her partners, there is not you cornering her, and after the first episodes I saw, I think that all the girls are losing some fighting quality in the Ultimate Fighter. Do you agree, and what do you think about the format?
You know, there's pros and cons. It's a great thing for the girls. I mean, a year or two ago, before Ronda, they couldn't even fight in the UFC, and now they have two weight classes. So, you know, we have to be positive about what we have. It's easy to be negative, but I think it's better to be positive. And Aisling's very happy to number one, have the opportunity. She's one of the, you know, I put up actually a picture. It was over 7 years ago that her and Gunny made their debut. Both fought May 2007 in Copenhagen, and she's a long time at this game. She's very experienced. So I wasn't there for the couple of weeks. She was in the house, but she knows enough at this stage. In fact, another one of my fighters, Paddy Houlihan, is fighting in Halifax on Saturday night. I can't be there, and I had to pick someone to go with him, and I picked my most experienced person. I sent Aisling Daly with him. She understands the game very, very well. You know, it's a tough experience being in that house and the camera's in your face all the time, but what can we do? We have to take opportunity when we can. The winner gets the belt, you know, so you couldn't ignore this. So we adapt, improvise, overcome, and I'm sure Ash is going to do fine.
I really enjoyed your social media campaign, Artem for UFC. Artem is a fantastic guy. I met him some time ago, and I really think that he will be one of the best choices for UFC to step into for the fight. But the point is that he's a 10-10 fighter. I know, because sometimes I'm sending you fight offers, and 66 kilos, 70 kilos, there's always Artem. He's stepping for every challenge, not looking into it. He loves to fight, but he is a 10-10. What do you think? Wasn't it be smarter to take his career more responsible, or just leave it like the way he is, just taking the opportunity and fighting?
Yeah. Well, up until now, Artem is his own man. He will come into me on Tuesday and say, "Oh, coach, I'm fighting Saturday. Can you come?" And I'm like, "What? You know, I'm supposed to do this." And he's, "Oh, I got talking to a guy online and I got to fight." He actually signed himself up for a heavyweight tournament where he was the lightest guy was 110 kilos, and him. And you know, there were 7 of these big guys, and I was like, "Artem, you're crazy." And like, "Oh, it's fine, it's okay," you know. So until recently, he was looking after his own fights, and like I said, there were so many times where he's taken a fight against, you know, at 70 kilos against a big strong wrestler. Artem is a lot more competitive at 66. I really hope that the UFC would have looked a little bit deeper at his record. In his last 7 featherweight fights, he's 6-1 with stoppages, knockouts against Martin Svensson and Andrew Fisher that had fought in Bellator. But unfortunately, it just seems to be about the number. If you're 8-1 or 9-0, this means a lot more. And I found it somewhat justifying that the Swedish Federation blocked the UFC's choice, because they looked a bit more deep at the numbers. Although the guy's record was impressive, they realised all those fights were in France. It's not real MMA, they don't have any ground and pound, and that he had fought pretty low competition. So it was interesting to see that they actually looked at it more closely than maybe the UFC did or could have looked at it. I also can kind of see their point of view from a marketing point of view. And the commentator says 10-10 and maybe doesn't sound as impressive. I do think that will pass. If they were to allow him to have the fight, okay, as he's walking towards the cage, they say 10-10, and a few people be kind of going, oh, that's not a very good record. The fight starts 10 seconds later, they're going, oh God, this guy is good, because I think that fight would have been perfect for Artem. I think he would have beaten Silver, but that's gone now, and we've spoken to the UFC, and they are interested in Artem, but he has to get a winning record. So I do think he's going to probably be my next fighter that I get in the UFC once I can get him a couple of wins outside of the UFC.
Yeah, I would love to see that, but I know that he is mentioned as possible contender for Cage Warriors. He's in a title picture. Do you think that he will get a title shot in Cage Warriors?
I'm not sure. We would gladly accept it. Cage Warriors is a great promotion, and he had a fantastic fight there just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you saw, but he managed to stop Andrew Fisher with 1 second to go. Last round, last second, and he stopped him with strikes. So it was a fantastic victory. I don't think there's anybody else at featherweight in Cage Warriors that has the number of high-level fights and the number of high-level wins that he has. So I'd love to see him get that belt and then join his teammates in the UFC.
Okay, so last question. How do you feel about your rising popularity, as we are here on a media day in the UFC, and I'm here from the beginning, and I saw fighters that gave less interviews than you did today.
Yeah, one of the UFC directors just walked past me and said, you've given more interviews than most of the fighters, but no, it's very flattering, and I just go with the flow. If somebody wants to ask me questions, I've no problem answering as best as I can, and I'm just happy for my fighters that I know what they've put in, the type of training they've put in, and the type of circumstances that they've come through over the last decade, and to see them start to enjoy the experience now and do better out of it. It's very fulfilling for me, and I hope we can keep this going.
Okay, thank you very much, and good luck on Saturday.
Dziękuję.